Alright, in this video we're going to take what we already know about differential equations and add one layer of complexity to it. But the first steps for these types of problems are the same. The first steps are going to be separating y and x, or whatever the two variables might be. So we have dy plus dx plus 8x cubed equals 9x squared, and then it tells us some other information that we'll use later to figure out what c is. But for now, we'll just focus on separating x and y using the same steps that we learned for the last chapter. So we have negative 8x cubed plus 9x squared, just subtracted the 8x cubed to the right side. Then move dx over to the right side by multiplying by dx. And at this step, we don't really want to distribute the dx through to everything. We'll just leave it on the outside. And then once dx and dy are separated, we can take the integral of both sides, or integrate both sides to get y is equal to negative 8 x to the fourth over 4 plus 9x cubed over 3 plus c. And at this step, we can simplify just a little bit here to get negative 2x to the fourth plus 3x cubed plus c. And this is the thing we did for a while in the past couple of weeks, is we got to this step where we had y equals some equation plus c. But in these types of problems, now we're going to take this information, plug it back in to figure out what c is. So it says y equals 2 when x is equal to 0. So we will just substitute in 2 for y and substitute in 0 for x everywhere else. And in this problem, it's pretty straightforward. All these terms with x will cancel out, and we have 2 is equal to c. Now that we know what c is, we can go back to the step we had originally and just plug in c there. So our final answer for a problem like this will just be y is equal to negative 2x to the fourth plus 3x cubed, and now we know that c is equal to 2, and we'll put our final answer like this. Let's look at one more example. It says find the particular solution for the differential equation, and it says at y of 0 is equal to 7. So what that means is once you get your general solution with the plus c bit, you can use this information to figure out what c is and then get your final answer. So our first step is going to be separating x and y like we've always done. That's 9y dy is equal to 5x cubed dx. Now that y and x are separated, so we'll integrate both sides. We'll get 9y squared over 2 is equal to 5x to the fourth over 4 plus c. When we did this originally, we said plus c1 and c2, but now it's fine. As long as we include plus c on the side with x, this will get us the correct answer. Let's clean this up just a little bit. We'll get 9y squared is equal to, multiply everything by 2. C never gets changed, even though it could be multiplied by 2 here. Let's put plus c. Then we'll divide by 9. 10x to the fourth divided by 4 divided by another 9. That's over 28 plus c. The last time we did these problems, we were taking the square root of each side to get an equation for y. But for these types, when we're actually just trying to figure out what c is, we're going to leave it as y squared. The reason being, when we take the square root, we generally generate two equations, the plus equation and the minus equation. And we don't really want to work with two equations here, we just want one equation. So at this step, we're good. We can take this information from the top and figure out what c is. It says y of 0 is equal to 7. Like, how can we interpret that? What does this actually mean? It means if you plug in 0 for x, y is equal to 7. So let's do that here. Let's plug in 7 for y and plug in 0 for x. This whole thing will be 0 plus c, and c will be equal to 49. Then, we'll take that information and plug it back into the step that we cared about, which is the y squared step. And we have y squared is equal to, we can probably simplify this a little bit by dividing by 2 at least. And we know that c is equal to 49. And we're just going to leave it in this format, which is what Math Excel will want.